Hey guys, welcome to the third and penultimate part of Dyslexia Tuesdays. As I said in the title, it's a week late because I did plan to do it last week, but for whatever reason, either forgot or didn't get around to it. But anyway, I hope people out there enjoy it, and I hope the dyslexic community can connect together. If I'm really dreaming, I would love for us to subscribe to each other and support each other's channels. But I'm trying to plug my own channel as well, of course. But anywho, sorry for the shameless plug, but here are some of my ideas around dyslexia and what I wish for dyslexic people to achieve and things like that, especially in business. So here goes. So number 21, as the saying goes, 21 again. If I could have been more organized and planned things better, I would have created a group. There's another number of things I would have loved to have done this month. I suppose technically the month's not over yet, but I would have loved to have organised this at the beginning of the month, really. But for whatever reason, I didn't manage to organise it as well as I like. I did try and get in touch with some people, but I haven't had replies yet or managed to get things going. But I suppose I do have a problem with communication, perhaps. I suppose, even verbal communication, especially written communication. But anyway, I did want to get together a group of dyslexic people and interview dyslexics, possibly be interviewed by dyslexics, and discuss things about dyslexia, collaborate basically on YouTube and things like that, and possibly have meetups on Zoom and in terms of also what I would describe as physical meetups, as in meeting in person, going to cafes or places like that, or libraries even, funny enough. But unfortunately, it's not been so far. It's not come to fruition just yet. But hopefully, as soon as possible. But I wish I had planned that in the first couple of days of October. But anyway, it is what it is. Bring it back to business, as I think of business on Tuesdays, business and banking, and how dyslexics can make money and things like that. Earn a living and whatnot, basically be financially empowered and that kind of thing. There's been a lot of research, a wealth of research, if you like, on dyslexia and what success dyslexics have had, as I've talked before about as well, parts 1 and 2, and before as well on the channel. But I hope people find out more about that. The Dyslexic Advantage and Made by Dyslexia have done some great work, as well as others, on the success stories of dyslexic entrepreneurs. So I hope people will check those out on YouTube and Google, respectively, and watch some of the videos from the Dyslexic Advantage and Made by Dyslexia. And also there's the Yale Centre for Dyslexia and Creativity. I think they have a great website. I think their information is better on their website, but Made by Dyslexia and the Dyslexic Advantage has really good information and has had some great events on their YouTube channels, respectively. And also the Child Mind Institute and Understood. The Child Mind Institute does some great stuff on what I would tell my younger self, where famous people and successful people with dyslexia talk about what they would tell their younger self. Funny enough, but I think that's pretty cool. So also, as I say, I would have loved to have looked at how we can. I would love to have looked at how we could. I together, working with others, could have put into practice many of these ideas, like learning to invest and build business together and just support each other's projects generally. Anyway, I'm going to move on from that point, number 22. I hope to do those things as soon as possible. So as soon as possible, I hope to have interviews with as many dyslexics as possible, record them from Zoom onto YouTube in whatever way is best for those people, for the interviewee. Meet up with my fellow dyslexics as well. As well as discussing online on Zoom and whatnot. Also meet up with them and discuss ideas and also hopefully travel together to discuss what we could contribute, including financially, let's say, for Italian football, Celtic, developing nations and former colonies, and that kind of thing. What we could contribute, what we have contributed in the past. I forgot to say in point number 21, funny enough, and what we could contribute in the future, especially when we're empowered and encouraged to achieve our full potential. There's so many things I want to achieve, so I'm going to move on because I am conscious that these videos, I do want to condense them if I can find a way to get to the point quicker. Number 23, as I often think of philanthropy and charitability, sympathy, empathy, and that kind of thing. And I would love to encourage dyslexics like Charles Branson, and Charles Schwab, however you pronounce his surname, and Richard Branson, and people like that. Paul Orfalea is another one. But basically, financially successful dyslexics, millionaires or even billionaires like Richard Branson, Charles Schwab, Craig McCaw, and people like that, to donate to the Rare Gem School, which I support in Kenya, and also organisations and schools across Africa and Asia, like the DOK, Dyslexia Organisation of Kenya, which Rare Gem is a part of, to support people like the Gems, as we call them. And I know Paul Orfalea already does a lot of work for charity, and so does Charles Schwab. And Richard Branson has like the Virgin Unite from Virgin Enterprise. And yeah, so many dyslexics already have those sorts of things. So I hope to encourage them to implement those in Asian and African nations. Number 24, on the subject of Richard Branson and Charles Schwab, I was wondering who could be the dyslexic of the day, which I haven't talked about. I was thinking it could either be Richard Branson or Charles Schwab for today, or technically tonight. But I'd love to know what people think and which dyslexic inspires them the most. Who would be your dyslexic of the day, wherever you are in the world? Hopefully people around the world will watch these videos, I hope. Number 25, I hope we can work together in spite of our differences. I often talk about like being a Republic supporter, but I hope people from both sides of the debate, whether they're monarchists or Republicans or even royals themselves, will invest together. So I hope dyslexics from all different walks of life and background who share one thing in common, being dyslexic, will invest together and again give their money to people like Charles Schwab and Richard Branson, Virgin Money, and Schwab Corp and organisations like that. Maybe they could even come together, dyslexics together, to look at how to reinvest that money into different projects, see what we can achieve. Number 26, giving back to countries in Africa and Asia and helping their dyslexics, as well as Ireland, which was also colonised, helping former colonised countries, I think would be a good way to operate as an anti-imperialist. I think that would be pretty cool. Number 27, I hope, I think there's a good, if you give back to disadvantaged groups, like if you help the Gems of the Rare Gem School, for instance, I think, especially if you see them do well in the future, I think there's a great reward in giving. It helps you feel a lot better. And maybe Nancy, who's the head of the Rare Gem School, could have videos of the students, the young students, like talking about what they have gained and thanking the people who sponsor them and support them. Maybe people could sponsor a child and like help their parents to pay for their fees and things like that. Receive thank you letters and videos giving them thanks, things like that. But I think it'd be cool, as I say, if Paul Orfalea, Charles Schwab, Richard Branson, people like that, even Barbara Corcoran, Damon John, and people like that gave to schools like Rare Gem, and gave to organisations and schools generally across Africa and Asia and Ireland as well, as they were colonised. Number 28, I hope that people, even hearing those names like Richard Branson, Charles Schwab, and people like that, will look into them, and hopefully that will change the perception of dyslexia to a more positive one. And again, I hope if we invest together and pool our money and resources together, we can achieve some amazing things in the future, and turn our situation around. So with the economy being the way it is, I think, as I say, it would be good to have that money in savings and trust funds and things like that to be reinvested, so the money works for us in the future, so that if heaven forbid which many people predict, or maybe even say we are already in a recession with the cost of living crisis and the recession and things like that, the looming recession, which many people say is inevitable, and have been predicting for a while. We would have that safety net, as I say, if we reinvest. And it'd be interesting if investors also invest in dyslexics like PIF, BlackRock, Bridgewater, Cascade Investments, and Berkshire Hathaway invested into dyslexics. I think that'd be pretty cool if they found out the positive traits of dyslexics, and that kind of thing. Number 29, I would love to know what people think about the idea of a Dyslexic Billionaires Network. And number 30, I'd also love to know what people would think or do think of the idea of research into what percentage of billionaires are dyslexic. I wonder if you think that'd be quite interesting to find out. Or do you think I'm being too capitalistic or whatnot? Anyway, I'm going to leave it on that, and I'm out. Peace and love.